Now here's more of my conversation with the family of Sheridan Gorman, a freshman at Loyola University in Chicago. She was shot and killed on March 19th, just 7 weeks ago today. The feds say that the suspect came to the country illegally during the Biden administration, was allowed to cross the border, then was freed into the rest of the country. Then he was arrested after a shoplifting incident in Chicago, but then he never showed up for his court date. And then not long after, I should say, this happened to Sheridan Gorman. Here's the rest of our discussion. You talk about the failure of the laws that were in place, and very close to the same spot where this happened to Sheridan, the governor of Illinois was pushing back on the notion that Chicago is not safe, and he put out a video of himself, and this is what he said.
Here on the south side, early morning, lots of runners coming by on the lakefront path, lakefront trail. Absolutely gorgeous.
Tom, what do you think about that?
I just think that when policies are in place that protect unvetted migrants who do commit a crime, there is a risk. There is a risk for that. And I have to live every day with a choice in my head. Was my daughter an unintended consequence of good policy or the consequence of bad policy? And I know the answer for me, but I think other people think she's just an unintended consequence of good policy. And I don't know how to wrap my head around that.
One of those other people is the mayor of Chicago. And here's what he said after the news of Sheridan's murder.
We continue to grieve the loss of Sheridan and other victims who have fallen because of senseless violence. We're going to double down on our efforts to ensure that we create safe communities across the city.
This is not senseless violence.
This was preventable. This should never have happened. My sister should be here, their child.
Someone said wrong place, wrong time, the alder woman, and actually suggested that she might have startled this man. Yeah. And that just, it flays me. It just lays my heart wide open. And honestly, my daughter was not in the wrong place in the wrong time. This man was. This man was. And every day, that's what we wake up with. And every day, we're going to fight. We're actually kind of quiet people. And this is, we're nervous speaking to people, but we're going to do everything we can. I cannot, as a mother, and you don't have to be a mother to feel this love. This could have been your best friend. This man did not ask what her political affiliation was. He did not ask if she was born in America or not. This can touch anyone. It can touch anyone, any family, any person that you might love. And it wasn't a wrong place, wrong time. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
You know, the mayor of Chicago, not long after this happened, he came out and they do an annual naming of a snowplow. And this time, the winning name of the snowplow was Abolish ICE. What's your reaction when you saw that story, Tom?
It was infuriating. For us, it was just infuriating. I mean, it's like, read the room. You just had this murder happen in your city, and that's what you're going to advertise. I worry that we live in a society now where ideology is driving policy. And policies are just policies. They should evolve based off of current situations. And those policies that are in the city of Chicago and some other cities across this country need to be evaluated given the circumstance of what happened during the last administration. When so many migrants came across the border unvetted, that was an opportunity to look at your policies and assess the risk. And they failed to do that.
And there are too many families like yours who are bearing the consequences of that. One of the things that disturbs me when I cover these stories is that he was picked up for shoplifting. So once you have broken the law entering the country, once you break another law, and then he didn't show up for his court date.
He had outstanding warrants.
How do you view that policy and how it's clearly not working. If you break the law again, there's another opportunity for you to be sent home.
I heard, I don't want to name names, but I heard someone say, when you come into a country, you're a guest. And when you're a guest in a country, you should act accordingly. My daughter just was overseas. I've been overseas a couple of times. I'm a guest in another person's country. I would not think to break laws or to cause a problem. When you have people with blatant disregard for our country's laws, I don't know if there's a place for them in our society.
You know, Jess, you said that you're a person of faith and that this has tested that, and how could it not raise questions for you? You brought with you a beautiful picture of your baby daughter and the cross that she was wearing when this happened. Tell us about that, Jess.
I've actually been railing against God. I'm just so angry. I have not been able to understand how God could let this happen to us, how God could take our precious Sheridan. And we did find some comfort knowing that she was wearing her cross, that cross, when she passed. And about a couple weeks ago, I've just been really troubled and really I feel like I'm losing my faith, which is a very hard thing. And I was speaking with Tom, and he said to me, he's like, Jess, he's like, this wasn't God. This was evil. This was the devil. And he's like, look at, when we got her necklace back, we realized it was broken, presumably from the bullet that passed through her neck. But he said to me something that actually gave me a modicum of peace, which was, this wasn't God, this was the devil. And he had to rip it off her neck to take her down. And it's such a dark thought, but it actually gave me a little peace. This is the first time that we've actually ever experienced evil in this world. And again, it just brings us to our knees every day. We cannot let this happen to someone else. And speaking about these policies, and reevaluating them, I don't understand. I want to understand when they did name the ICE truck. ICE could have saved our daughter twice. It's a galling thing. ICE could have saved our daughter. When they're naming trucks and laughing and joking, several days after our daughter was murdered, we're waiting in Chicago to claim her body. It was more than infuriating. I don't have the vitriol that I felt was overwhelming. And again, I've never been a person who hates another person. I've never fought with people over politics. I respect everyone's view, everyone's life and their experiences have shaped how they believe, and I get that. But I want to understand desperately. I don't understand what these politicians are thinking. To me, things like that show that they value these undocumented migrants more than they value our American citizens, our American children. And honestly, you almost want to just make a plea, choose us. Choose my American child. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight for my child and for yours.
You're New Yorkers. You live in New York State. Sheridan was in college in Chicago, which we've been talking about. But here is the governor of New York talking about the approach that she wants her state to take with ICE. And this comes on the heels of Tom Homan saying that they want to step up some of the apprehensions of people who are already incarcerated, who have ICE detainers or removal orders against them. This is Governor Hochul.
States like New York can and must be a guardrail against ICE overreach. An out-of-control agency, ICE will no longer be able to use our police, our jails, and our resources to carry out civil immigration enforcement. Because guess what? Our officers, paid for by local taxpayer dollars, were hired to protect their communities. They're not there to do the federal government's bidding.
Tom, what's your reaction to that?
If the purpose of local law enforcement is to create safe streets, then cooperation with ICE is one way to do that. It seems very simple in my head.
She said, New Yorkers can and must. New Yorkers can and must protect other New Yorkers. This is not a political issue for us. This is a common sense issue that extends beyond political party. I don't understand why safety is not our #1 concern. Safety of our cities, safety of our states, of our citizens.
The safety of our families is not up for debate. It's something we should all be on the same page for and be willing to cooperate. And
so when politicians say these kind of things, it is not only infuriating, it's them showing the lack of concern for their own constituents, their own citizens. In New York, why are we valuing other lives other than New Yorkers? I mean, my child should have been safe in any city in this country, and she wasn't. I blame Chicago. I do. This was not a Loyola problem. This was a Chicago problem. And she would be here. This was preventable. If they had several opportunities to cooperate with ICE, and they didn't. They didn't.
You know, looking forward, I know that, as I said, it's only been 7 weeks, which is a very short time, and unfortunately, you have a long grieving process ahead of you. But I know that you have felt such gratitude for all of the support that has come from your friends and from your schools. Madelon, what has it been like for you? Because obviously you lost your best friend and your sister, but I know you have a lot of support. And what do you feel around you right now?
Well, I got the call no one should ever have to receive from their father, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I rejected the first time my dad called. You know, you're a teenager, you expect your dad's gonna be like, why are you not up ready for class? Then he called again. My roommate walks in. Is that your father? I'm like, yeah. You should answer that. I'm like, what? Okay. I answer, Sheridan's gone. What? Just a joke. I was in a state of disbelief. You're joking. And you end up, I scream. I fall to the floor, and I'm instantly surrounded by my friends, just asking why. Why is this why did this happen? And you have to ask the question, why not me? Why my sister?
But we couldn't be more thankful. This nation, just the outreach, the outpouring of support, love. President Trump called us, and despite what people might think, he did not say one thing political. He just basically held us. His whole team calling out wonderful, supportive things. You know, he spoke to us as a father, as a grandfather. I actually cut him short because it was so emotional. And you know, the heartfelt support. I mean, people say they can see the love in her eyes. I mean, she was so expressive. She sparkled.
We are so sorry for your loss. She was a beautiful, vibrant young woman, and we all wish that we knew her, and we're grateful to you for bringing her into the world. And we wish you all the best, Madelon, in your future, which will be bright, no doubt.
Thank you so much, really.
All the moms and dads out there, give your kids a big hug. Tell them that you love them, because that's the one thing that gives us solace, is knowing that Sheridan knew how much we loved her.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.